Hello, Job Dewey here, and excuse me, today's little recipe, in case you haven't noticed by the title, is well, if life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, but if life gives you onions, you can make some kind of soup. In this case, if they give you onions and half of a sweet potato. All right, you see the thing over there? The sweet potatoes I've been chopped, with my chopping hand, chopped and shaved off of the skin, and the onions we've got, I believe, are 4 yellow, medium, small size, and 1 red hanging out there. And whatever is in this bag here, in case you can measure that. So, what I'm going to do first is start by breaking down the onions. And, set it up here. And I like to, I do this for all the onions. You got the root end, like that. And, I don't care for that, it's kind of dirty. So I take my knife here, and just kind of sharply cut that part off, hopefully. Now this one here has a little bit of stuff inside, but we'll deal with that later. This thing here I set aside for the composter or the trash. And then we got the top part here, and the same thing, I'm just going to cut off the very top little knot, per se, like so. And toss that aside. And then I peel off this brown flaky skin, and even though this is slightly wasteful, I like to kind of carefully run a little knife blade around it, like so, and take off that first layer of onion. Right. Skin and all. Yeah. And now, in case you're wondering here, this is a recipe in my brain is where it's coming from. I compared a few different things. This is not going to be a French onion soup per se. It's just going to be something to use with onion and squash. And it's going to be some boiling. It's going to be some sauteing, or maybe sweating, as I think is what it's called. And it's going to be great. Otherwise, I guess I'm going to go out for dinner. Okay, so, a little wasteful, but clean onion, right? Now then, I'll remove my little protective sheet here, paper towel, and give this a right cut in half, like so, and see what's going on there. Okay, we got some of that stuff there. That just come out and go in the dumper. And really, it's like this right here is kind of cored out more and more. Why? Because I'm a little picky on my stuff when I cook, a little neurotic sometimes. I don't like bugs or nasty stuff in my food. Not saying it's a bug, but it could be nasty stuff. Alright, that's pretty good there. And take it, set sideways like so, and I'll commence with the chopping. I got me a little vegetable chopper. I'm going to go for 1/4 inch slices, nice and controlled, because I'm not no professional. I don't want to cut my finger off because I have a long ways to go still. And be careful when it gets to the end, because it might want to fall over like that, and this thing I'll just cut in half. Okay. So I got like that. Now then, these things here I'm ready to throw in the pot as is. As they cook and sweat down, they will desegment into strips, and I am fine with this size of strip. So let me chop the rest of these onions up and get them in the pot. Except for, since my sweet potato has been basically pre-prepped for me by me on another date, let's just take that little fella out and see what we can do with it. Right, so we got that right there, right? Sweet potato, it's still good. Smells like an onion now with my hands, but what I'm going to do with this is a 1/4 inch thick slab or so, like that. And then dice it, kind of, or cube it, which is kind of hard you know, it's not squared. But I'm gonna do cubes. Right? So I made a square out of it. I got these other pieces here that I can maybe choke a little bit off the zoom here. Whoa. Right, put this together here, and 1/4 inch ish. And then this way here, same thing. Cube, cube. You get like that, flip it around, and I'll get back on my cube in here. Right, so I got like that. Now I'll process the rest of this, and I'll put it in boiling water for about let's say 8 minutes on this thing. Nah, let's say 5 minutes on this. Onions, I'll show you that next after I get them all chopped up. Right. Mount onion there. I tossed in a little bit of butter, like 2.5 tablespoons, maybe. But as you can see right now, the butter's on top, and well, it should be on the bottom. So I turn the heat on ever so slightly. So I'm going to work my butter down so I can get into the party and start melting. And this takes time. It's going to be just like some other onion soups out there, but you want a nice caramelize to them, a nice slow cook, and yeah. So butter, melt, mix in this onion stuff, and I'm going to stir it for a while there to make sure it's all done up good. My sweet potatoes over here, they're done boiling, so I turn the heat off on that, and I will strain them and just kind of set them aside. So get this butter down there, chop it up with my wooden spoon, change the camera so everyone else can see. Ah, you should have seen that as an epic. I just cut that butter right in half with this wooden spoon. And low and slow on this. And like I said, you just really kind of, you know, break up some of those things too. And right. So I'll strain the sweet potatoes and let this stew for just a little bit. Okay, well that hangs out there for a little bit. Over here we got the onion mixture still. And this part here is pretty easy. And it's going to take time. You don't want to really try to rush it anyways by turning the heat up. My butter's in here, melted at the bottom. I'll give it a little stir. And then I'll put a lid on it. Alright? Now, much like a pressure cooker cooks things quicker with the lid strapped on it, this here is going to keep the heat in there and basically keep the moisture in there too. More moisture. And it should still sweat them out pretty good, but don't go for too much sizzle, go for sweat. So while that's sweating away, I'm going to get the other ingredients put together. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes at this temperature crawl, and I've been opening it up, giving it little stirs. Right, it's getting liquefied. No, you're not liquefying the stuff. You're just you know, making them all loosey-goosey. So stick back on there, and then over here we've got some more things. So what's going to go in is even though this is onion soup, I got, you know, little friend garlic here. Now these garlics came pre-peeled, and it's okay, but your onion, your garlic lasts longer than the bulb. I'm pretty sure, not onion pre-peeled, but see a little bud in here? You probably don't because it's all blurry, but trust me, there's a bud into it. And I just like to cut that off and get rid of it. And now you got a clove. In this case, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cloves. This right here, I'm going to count as 1. See, the problem is, when you talk about a clove, people might say, you know, that's a clove, or this is a clove, right? Two different things. So maybe it's good to just say, you know, diced or prepared garlic. And take this very carefully, not cutting the fingers. Smash that little thing like that, and I don't know, chop it up. Nice and easy. Don't hit the fingers. I guess I'm doing a little dice. And this right here, I can go ahead and throw into the onions right now if I want to. Like I said, the onion's about 20 minutes there. It still has some more time to go. But I'm going to get the butt ends off all this garlic, give a nice little coarse chop or so, and in the bucket. Meanwhile, over here, over there we got some other culprits. We got some kind of dried up but fresh 2 little sprigs of rosemary. Same thing, your sprigs can be, that big. Your sprigs can be this big. So, but just to, flavor-wise, depending on how you like rosemary, I got the bay leaf right there, dried. I got a half a teaspoon of thyme, dried. I got 1 teaspoon of basil, dried. And of course, depending on where you're from, it could be basil, or it could be basil, or something like that. And that's all I can save for later, till we get more liquids in this pot. So, in will go the garlic with a little bit of a chop to it, and back to stirring and cooking it down. It could take up to half an hour, 40 minutes, some people say, to cook those onions down to a niceness. Okay, so I think it's been around 40 minutes or so since I've been putting this thing here on. I turned it down ever so slightly because the lid was trying to pop off, but you can see it's pretty limp, I think. Yeah, maybe limper. I don't know. I think it looks fine for now. We've got some juices in the bottom, and nothing is pointing out or sticking up anymore. So, and some of the reds, kind of falling off the onion, and some are actually pretty translucent. Some of the white ones. Yellow, whatever. Non-red onions will be translucent. So, what I'm going to do is go ahead and add the rest of the gang to it. So, the soupiness is going to be this right here. This right here, what we got is, as odd as it is 2 cups of chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock if you want. You can use beef stock. But I had chicken stock. And beef is more for your French onion. I believe it needs to be beef. But onion soup here, chicken stock's fine. And I mixed in or added a cup of tomato juice. The kind you might drink for breakfast. So that itself has, it's low sodium, but it itself has herbs and spices and whatever in it. But into the party it goes. So that's like 3 cups of liquid there. And I'm going to crank this up to medium high. We're trying to get to a boil now. Give it a stir, and righto. Now we can throw in the sprigs of rosemary, the bay leaf, which I will pick out later, hopefully. Give it a little stir here to get down there. And I try not to crack the bay leaf up. Hey, gentle bay leaf. I don't like pieces of bay leaf stuck in my face. We'll add both the dried basil and dried thyme. Look at that at the same time. And now I will do a half a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. And Worcestershire sauce. Right, so if you're like one of those vegetarian people that don't eat any kind of meat at all, I think most Worcestershire sauce has fish, like anchovy extract or something like that. But I bet you there's probably a vegetarian version out there somewhere. Half a teaspoon. And this might seem a little bit odd. Heck, maybe the whole thing's a little bit odd, but I'm going to stir it in. Hey, get down there, leaf. Get some of these herbs covered up. Worcestershire sauce, bay leaf, put floating on the top. Okay, and I'm going to add to it a teaspoon of molasses, of all things. flaky molasses. So clean that off and get some, try to get some non-cross contamination. This is going to work like probably wildfire. Okay, that plus what I poured in the bowl is probably a teaspoon. Just kind of shake it off in there. And, whoa. I'll deal with this in a little bit. Okay, so teaspoon of molasses. Teaspoon? Yeah. Get that stirred in there. And, bring it to a boil. And I'm going to boil it for a little bit. Maybe 5 minutes. Get in there. And so I turn it up, and I will pop the lid back on. And I'm judging by the content, I might add a little bit more unflavorful liquid to it. As in probably water. If you have more stock, feel free to use just straight up stock. Don't do the tomato juice stuff. And but I mentioned I'm kind of cleaning out the fridge. So clean out the fridge because I got a little vacation, a little trip coming up, where I have to travel all the way down to the town of Anaheim. And I'm going to be attending the D23 convention. Yeah. Which is probably no big deal, because there'll be plenty of YouTubers there doing it. And I'll be there too. Maybe I'll be in their videos. Maybe they'll be in mine. I don't think I'll do a video though. If anyone's interested to see me, and what I, well not me, but see the trip that I do, and what I experience, and possibly what I end up buying, because I usually shop pretty good when I go to these things. Let me know in the comments below, and I will do a video of some sort, like a show and tell, an adventure video, whatever, about me, D23. If you see me there, say hi, but you probably won't. And I think I'm going to be there like for 1 day only. So yeah. Okay, enough of that advertisement. Back to the soup. Let it boil. I'm going to do like 5 minutes. Okay, so I got this here boiling like madman. And pop that top off. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Get it to like a little bit of a simmer now. And you know, like you can see, all my liquids are boiling out. Just say so. I'm going to take, and this is optional too. But I'm going to take a little bit of potato starch, not corn, not flour, but potato starch, because I have that on hand, and put it in this little vessel here, and add a cup of water to it. Cup of water. Okay, good enough. And I'll do a little whiskey with this here. Right. Trying to get it off the sidewalls. Get that starch in there suspended. And look at the bottom, make sure it's not hanging at the bottom. Okay, so another cup of water here I'll add to the soup with the starch in it. Right. Kind of killed my boil. And I'll stir it, and I'll even add these guys again. Sweet potato, right? Get back in there, you. Just kind of fold it in nicely. Fold it in. And get in there. Okay, so this right here is on its way to simmer town for a little bit, and I'm going to simmer it for 10 minutes. Simmer slash boil. Wait, one more thing. Depending on if you like it or not. How about some cracked black pepper? Okay, so about 1/8 of a teaspoon or so. 1/8 of a teaspoon, 2/8 of a teaspoon. Okay, and stir. Incorporated. Nice. Get down there, you leaf. Alright, back with the lid on for some simmer time of 10 minutes. Okay, so about halfway through this simmering time here, I'm going to add a little bit of tablespoon of cream sherry. Alright, a little fancy stuff here. If you're not into this, don't add it. But it's going to give a little bit of a, hopefully a little flavor to this thing, a little bit of depth maybe, a little bit of something else there that no one's going to be like, hey, what's that? Alright, stir it up some more. Turn it down. I think I'm getting too much. And, yeah, it's picking up nicely, I think. Back on with that. Alright, let's see what it looks like. Voila! Soup. Okay, now this is nice and hot and bubbly. I'm going to go ahead and turn the temperature down. And you know what? It seems like a good consistency, I think. It's very, kind of, I don't know, thick, chunky, whatever. I don't know, it seems good. So, I'll let it sit like this right now. Still simmering away. Meanwhile, I got a little special topping for this. And, it goes a little something like this. Over here I have a plate. Right? And, whoa! On said plate, I shall place an ingredient, which I normally don't have, but because it's used for something else. We got some goat cheese. Alright. But goat cheese is a softer cheese, at least in this case it is. And soft cheeses are a little pain to grate. If you ever try to grate it, I think it's a pain. So let's kind of scrape this here off. I want all the goat cheese I can get out of this package. And, where's goat cheese? Yeah, there. I'll get you later. Anyways, the point of this is, you got a fork, you got goat cheese, just try to slightly smash it up like this, right? Now, this isn't grating it, this is just smashing it. But, in theory, you're making little nuggets. You know, that right there can be flopped on top of your soup after you put it in the bowl. Alright. Speaking of soup, back over here, it's time to go fishing. And some people might just use their fingers, but I don't think I can do such things anymore, so got me some little grabbers here, right? I'm gonna fish this guy out here. Yeah, you did your duty. Yeah. Rosemary, she's out of the bowl. And guess what? There's another rosemary there somewhere. Let's do a little stirring. Gently. Maybe we can coax the rosemary to the top. Or maybe it's going to be a surprise in someone's bowl. Come here. Oh, at this rate, it might be a surprise. Whoa, whoa, I see something green. I think it's just a piece of that broke off, hopefully. And that's okay. If your raspberry falls apart, that's fine. It might be a little stickly, or especially if you got the stick in there still, you want that out. Alright, well, I'll get back to that later. So, time to, I guess you could sample it if you want to try it, make sure the flavors are all there. If you want to adjust it, go ahead, but this is ready to be served now, and so I'm going to go ahead and bowl it up and present it. Okay, so I got it out, nice and blurry like, got a little bowl thing set up there, and now it's time to just kind of take some of that goat cheese, and let's kind of try to float it on top, maybe in a nice little right pile of it. If you don't have goat cheese, feel free to use other stuff. Let's see, there you go. If you don't want cheese at all, don't put it in there at all. Alright, so that's about it. I got the goat cheese. Goaty. And if you got other, slices or shredded, you can just plop them on top of that thing, like a case in point. Got some Colby Jack, I think. Some pepper jack. I'm a little hungry. Okay. Let that melt. And oh, yeah, one more little friend too here. Got my little crostini here. There we go. So let me chow down this, and we'll get back to see if it's actually good or not. Right? Right. Alright, so in the end, you know what? It was just that good. Clean the bowl. Hopefully it's a healthy soup, nutritious. Like I said, I didn't add any sodium, or tried not to add too much sodium, because people that don't eat sodium, I don't think there's any gluten in there. But besides the health stuff like that, taste, it was interesting. It had depth, had flavors. It came out real good, and when I mixed it with the different cheeses, that made it even better. But I tell you, cheese, especially that kind of stuff, in a hot soup, hard to clean up the bowl afterwards. Especially like those French onion soups with the cheese on top, broiler, crisp all up. Yeah, that's a pot scrubber later on in life. Like whoever does the dishes, which in case it was this guy. Oh, and yeah, it was nice. It's a good way to burn up what I did. 4 onions. I gotta watch the beginning again. But it's a solid recipe is what I'm trying to say. And maybe one of these days I'll make it again, but I don't know if I have those ingredients per se. I wouldn't go out and buy the ingredients for it per se, because I have thousands of other recipes to try. But it was definitely not a miss. And the goat cheese, nice little topping to it. So if you have any questions or comments on that, or anything else, just put them in the spot down below. And thanks for watching. Now I'm getting ready to go off on vacation. Adios.